What is up, guys? Welcome to a new video. So normally just before the patch hits, we take a look at who I think are going to be the strongest new champions going into it. Now because 617 is so big though, and it's going to really shake up the AD carry role, we're going to take a look at that one first, and then the other roles maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. These are the champions being nerfed and buffed right now as it stands, and it's not likely going to change or anything this close to the patch, which is likely going to be Wednesday. That leaves these 6 who aren't really being touched at all balance wise of the main AD carries anyway, and this video is going to be my predictions and stuff, but I've looked into this a lot and there should be a few you won't expect as much getting quite a bit better. So Jhin, Ashe and Sivir were definitely a tier above the rest, right? So with them moving down, we might see a bit more of an even top tier with at least more champions anyway, but this is what I expect it to look like. Kog'Maw is going to join these guys, I think. Probably a bit of a surprise, but it's not just because he's strong anyway. He's been good for a while, actually creeping up for sure. It's actually because he has an even win rate with Ashe and Sivir, right? But a negative one versus Jhin. That was his big problem this patch, is that Jhin would crap on him, and Jhin is so popular. Against basically every single other AD carry at the moment, he has a positive win rate and a good win rate as well. Some even are 55% and above, like Ezreal, Lucian and Vayne. So in 617, right, Jhin is going to be nerfed, so he's easier to play versus. Ashe and Sivir are nerfed as well, so he should have slight increase in win rate against all three. Overall, what I think this is going to mean is that he comes to the top now that his bad matchups have kind of been nerfed, and in general, just the champion, he does an insane amount of damage right now. It's just kind of the problem of not being able to reach people. So with Ashe, he has an arrow and the Q volley burst as well to kind of compete damage wise. Sivir, the ricochet crits from out of range. Jhin, the ultimate shots as well to pick him off. When an AD carry actually has to get remotely close to Kog'Maw to do damage, Kog is going to win. That is what we're going to be looking for more in 617, I think, especially with the Wits End build as well. I think he's very, very strong. Another one who is probably going to join this top tier is going to be Jinx, at least for solo queue. She's already challenging them for the top spots anyway, but was kind of held back a little bit in 616 and 615 as well. Jinx is all about the damage. She's pure damage. She doesn't really have any kind of utility to help her team out. Jhin has his range, Ashe is arrows, slows as well, meant they could kind of do more overall. Sure, if you put them in an agile team fight, Jinx is going to carry, but those two are often about starting fights or getting picks, even if they are behind and down items, is not all about damage anymore. Matchup wise, again, it's mostly these two that gave her the most trouble, so if those two become easier to deal with, then in theory, Jinx should just get better. She has a good win rate against other AD carries, so it's kind of the combination really. We're going to see less Ashe and Jhin anyway after the nerfs, which means we see more better matchups for her. And also when Ashe and Jhin are actually picked, we're going to stand more of a chance against them. In my opinion, this meta is basically perfect for her right now. She gets a lead and she's going to snowball. She'll take towers, which gives more gold, and team fight damages through the roof as well. If you get behind though, you're still relevant in team fights. She does more with fewer items than most AD carries, but she is actually getting a buff this patch. It's to her ultimate damage, so the minimum damage is increased, not too much though, but the maximum is up to 150% of bonus AD instead of 100%, which is pretty nice. Now this is not massive, but half a lane ultimate now will be doing more damage, which is good. And it seems this whole kind of Runan's crit deal is becoming much more popular this last patch. It's either getting a Runan's and then Infinity Edge, those two are kind of core, and then Bloodthirster, or maybe even a rapid fire cannon for triple crit. So there is another one who uses that kind of triple crit idea, but before we get into that, this is what I expect the first tier of AD carries to look like in 617. So Ashe, obviously her Q duration is down a second, and ultimate damage is down a bit as well in 617 with the nerfs. The Q duration might actually hurt quite a bit, but I still think tier 1 just for how useful she is. The damage, kite, engage, she's always going to be relevant. Jhin is also still tier 1, the nerfs are going to be his WAD ratio down a bit and his ultimate base damage down, but more missing health damage. He still has his damage and pick though. He's going to be worse late game, I think. It's probably going to hurt his win rate from that aspect, but early game is still super good. Then we have Kog'Maw who is joining them, so it's easier to outscale Jhin now, still provides that insane damage, and that is his major bad matchup was Jhin. And finally Jinx, so loads of damage, AoE crits buffed, and ones above are going to be nerfed. So as you could have guessed, that does mean that Sivir got kicked out of the top tier for me of AD carries after her nerfs, which are to her W bonus damage and the bonus attack speed when her W is active. Honestly, I think she's better in competitive play than solo queue anyway. She was never really amazing, but was still really good. It's more of this kind of 3-item spike you hear me talk about all the time: Essence Reaver, Phantom Dancer, Infinity Edge. You get AoE crits with Ricochet, and that's just what went nuts with Sivir. I think she'll still be decent, obviously, she's still tier 2, but I don't think she's as good as the others in general just for carrying solo queue. Now we mentioned Jinx has kind of come back a bit because of this triple crit build. That was kind of the first time she really came back in. It's Runan's, Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, and Tristana is another one for this exact same thing. You might be surprised to see her in tier 2, but she is extremely good at the moment as long long as you know your limits and you can kind of get through the mid game. She takes towers very, very quickly. This is one of the biggest things because of the first blood on towers now. She pushes really hard and she can get that first tower blood. She's strong early, like you're good in the lane phase, you can fight people. You can also snowball though because you're going to jump to go aggressive and tower gold as well, which is nice, but you just also have this amazing late game. Your mid is pretty rough. I think that's kind of the thing that's holding her back a little bit, like while you're waiting for items, right? You can get through it now, I guess, with how the game is. Like it's a little bit late game focused more than earlier in the season anyway. Plus if you actually get fed, then you get your items sooner, so it's not really a problem. Her biggest problem is actually Jinx right now though. She kind of does the same thing but a little bit earlier and a little bit better. Well, better with more damage but not like more mobility. I guess that is what Tristana does have the edge on. Like you have more potential to carry, I think, on Jinx, which is why she's tier 1. Your matchups with tier 1 ADs are not great, but you can still do okay if she gets going and farms well. And again, it's mainly just a very safe damage source and hyper carry. Like there's no utility and you need items to kill people. Miss Fortune is actually going to round out tier 2 though, I think, moving into 6-17, and she can actually like beat Kog'Maw, Ashe, Jhin quite well and compete with the very top picks. The main reason is because she can beat them early in the lane phase and then outscale them as well, which is something most people don't think about. Her ultimate ratios are really good, so more items mean more ult damage, which is a better team fight, even late game. So you have your Q crits in lane, like they're going to do an insane amount of damage. Your ultimate to finish them off, great, like love tap trades with your auto attacks as well, and they all help you to get kills in the lane phase. She is never really going to be like super popular because she's not a traditional AD carry. Like she's an ability based AD carries and the autos are for cleanup. I still think she's very good though right now and should be a little bit better after those top tier ones get nerfed, and that's what's keeping her in tier 2. So tier 2 looks like this then: Sivir, Tristana and Miss Fortune. All three are very good late game but suffer mid game basically. That is the problem for these guys. Sivir needs the 3 item combo, Tristana needs items in general to do damage, and Miss Fortune relies on items for the ultimate damage. They are good early though. They kind of drop off a bit and then they finally spike back up later into the game unless they snowballed where they can do more and really spank people earlier into the game. So instead of going straight to tier 3, I'm going to have like a tier 2.5, 2.5 I guess as well. Like these two are tier 2 AD carries if you are good with the champion and can be proactive to have an impact. Basically on an average player they don't really stand up to the others so far, but on a good player they can do so I kind of wanted them to have a tier of their own. Ezreal was getting buffs this patch to his passive, more attack speed, decent chunk when fully stacked late game as well, but it's actually a buff to both the blue build and the Triforce build. Now this is something most people have kind of skipped over, but like attack speed in a blue build is amazing. It's really hard to actually build though in a normal thing. Like nothing really fits the build that has attack speed really. That's why we don't see it. Attack speed is great because it means we can use our Blade of the Ring King more, like the percentage damage on our autos, and the Mirror Mana once it's transformed as well. We actually output a good chunk more damage in team fights for sure. The Triforce build as well will also get better though. Like Triforce, Mana Immune, Blade of the Ring King, Frozen Malik for example would be really good, but it does cost a lot more gold, so you have to take that into account. So Ezreal is a good champion in general, but he has this kind of like slowly ramping style of gameplay. So if you like hit all your skill shots early and you can do some good work even mid game, but in general you'll be waiting for like your 3 item PowerPoint, your Blade of the Ring King, your Iceborne Gauntlet and your Mirror Mana transformed, and that takes a while, and before that other ADs are gonna dick on you. That's kind of why I wanted him to be in this 2.5 tier. Like if you can be proactive with poke and control the game more or get ahead early, then you'll be fine. Otherwise you're gonna struggle a little bit. Lucian is joining Ezreal in this tier. He's not super strong, but he can do well against basically any other AD carry as long as you play the matchup well and you play the game well. Probably the most vague thing ever saying play the game well, but it's more about like the snowball now. I think like that's one of the strongest things about Lucian is the lane phase. You get ahead, you get your items, more AD and armor pen with the Korean build and more kill potential, then you should be like keep getting harder for the enemy team to play against basically. If you sit back, you're probably going to lose a fair amount now because like Ashe, Jinx, Kog'Maw, Tristana, Sivir, they are all going to outscale you and do more damage than you late game. You still actually do a good chunk of damage. You aren't useless or anything. It's just like if you wanted to play for the late game, then you might as well pick one of those who do it better. Your range is actually the biggest problem there. Like they should always get the first auto off onto you when we reach 6 items, and really like your ability burst damage I guess won't mean as much at that point, and your autos fall off a little bit. Basically on an AD carry in general, late game you don't really want to be using your abilities as much because your autos will do more damage, but with Lucian you kind of have to for your passive. You do have very high mobility though and outplay potential, but I don't think he's as good as others unless you really give it to them early and get ahead. So that's going to mean our tier 3 champions, which by the way are all still very good and you can win games with, are Caitlyn, Twitch, Vayne and Draven. The good thing about AD carries right now is these 3 tiers are actually very close together, but I do think like certain things just stand out between each one. Anyway, Caitlyn is suffering from the Jinx syndrome again. again, basically Jinx is a better version of Caitlyn, I think. Like high range still, auto based, but does more damage, especially AoE. Whenever Jinx gets super good, she outscales Caitlyn, and so like Kate doesn't become as good anymore. It just always happens. Twitch is very hard to put him in a top tier when he's like in a super weird spot mid game, I guess. Like basically early you can snowball with this assassin style and do a lot. If you get ahead, your mid game is going to be good. If that doesn't happen though, you kind of have to wait for 3 items, so your Infinity Edge and Runes plus Ghost Blade, before you can really kill everyone in a team fight. I think he's actually very good, but he's also so situational, and any kind of like AoE mage mid laner is going to crap on you when you get close to them. Sivir is also getting buffs and in an okay spot right now, but only as good as you are with her basically. If you have a bad game or you are bad with her, you're in for a very rough time in this kind of 617 patch or 616 patch. She's really auto based, right? Like purely auto based, no real abilities to do damage from range, and it means if you can't get in range to auto attack, you're going to do nothing at all. The problem is most, if not all, tier 1 and tier 2 AD carries right now can do damage from range, which makes them more useful and safer. And finally, Draven's kind of the same deal as Vayne actually. Always good if you're good with him, but he is really hard to be effective with. You have to like know your limits, you have to know when to go in, where to place your axes, and how much damage you can really do. Axe catching in lane is like easy for sure, but in ganks or team fights, it's a lot to think about. He's tier 3 because you can play anything in tier 2 or tier 1 and have like an easier time of being effective. Draven is all auto based like Vayne as well, and has to get stuck in. It's not always possible and not easy either. I hope you guys enjoyed the video though. Let me know what you guys think, and for now, let's go to the robots.